Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Actors Quarantine Collective. Thank you for coming back. If it's your first time here, you can subscribe to our channel with that little fancy red button here on YouTube. Leave likes, leave comments. This is our actors' way of feeling their energy during this performance and feeling your guys' energy. Crazy times during COVID-19, but this is our way of acting from home with other people virtually. So thank you so much for being here. Today we have a really exciting new play from Beverly Andrews, who's doing, this is her third piece with us. We're very fortunate to be working with her from across the pond. I'm here in Brooklyn. She's in London. It's so cool because we can do it virtually. Anyway, this play is covers a lot of topics covering the HIV/AIDS crisis, which started back in the mid-70s, going into the 80s, of course, and it's still a very prevalent disease today. So we want to spread awareness and keep everyone knowledgeable about this thing, even though we're going through another pandemic and crisis right now. This is still a disease that lots of people around the world suffer from. And something that Bev had said about it is that we're looking to try and see the world from the inside out, as opposed to looking at the big picture. Let's look at individual people from the inside out and how they fit into this world. So without further ado, here's a great cast, and Bev is going to introduce the rest of the piece. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hi everyone, I'm here in London, and Circles came about because of pressure from my sister, who founded her own HIV and AIDS charity, and she wanted me to write something that addressed the issue when she saw so much suffering around her. And I kept thinking, well, what can I write that hasn't already been written by far greater, better, amazing playwrights than me? And then I came up with the idea of writing 4 stories, all loosely linked to HIV and AIDS, but mainly stories that force the audience to see the world from the inside out rather than the outside in, so they'd be far less judgmental. What you're going to see tonight is Circles' Michael's story, and it's a coming-of-age love story set at just the very, very, very beginning of the AIDS crisis. And me and the cast would like to dedicate this performance to everyone who's been affected by COVID, but particularly the LGBTQ community. It's a tragedy that seems to be just kind of like going under the radar at the moment, but we'd like to dedicate the show to them now. So on to Greg.
Hi everyone, my name is Greg Miller Burns and I'll be reading for Michael, and I am currently in London, but as you can hear, I'm from Scotland.
Hi guys, my name is Eli Caldwell. I'm originally from Ireland, but I'm streaming from London, and I play Jason.
What's up guys? My name is Daniel Mark Collins, and I'm coming at you live from Nashville, Tennessee. And for this reading, I'll be playing the role of Mark.
Hi, I'm Kieran. I'll be playing the role of Jonas, and I'm from Manchester.
Hi, I'm Erin Elkin, and I am doing the voice of narrator, and I'm tuning in from Scotland.
Hi, I'm Oliver. I will be playing the part of Rob, and I am streaming from London.
In the night, there's a moment of time.
Gay clubbers are dancing. Dancers grab people who enter. Couples kiss in hidden corners, which is picked out by spotlights. Others dance suggestively. A scantily clad male disco dancer is dancing frantically. An MC is on stage leading the events. A young gay guy enters a little lost. A man pulls him to him, but he pulls away and just stands staring at the sights around him.
Oh, you found it. I was starting to get worried that you had gone lost or something.
Oh boy, was I lost. Folks had me going just about every which way, and I kind of wasn't sure who I could ask, you know. I just wasn't sure if I said the name of the place and they knew it, how they would react. When I got up the courage to ask this one guy, he was nice at first, but the moment I told him the name of the club, he gave me the strangest look and then just turned and walked away really, really fast. Then I asked this other guy and he just said he didn't know, and then another guy had me going in completely the wrong direction. And then finally I found a guy who said he was coming and that I should just tag along with him.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Huh?
Nothing. That's New York for you. Half the people here don't have a clue where they're going because they're tourists. And the rest are just like you. Just off, moved here. So they don't have much of a clue either. And then you've got someone like the first guy you met who probably knew, but just wasn't going to tell you.
Why? What? What?
No, nothing.
No, what?
Oh, I was just remembering. That's all.
Remember what?
Oh, just maybe myself. A very long time while ago. When oh, baby, you're so innocent.
Why you say that?
Oh, nothing.
I just wish those folks I asked, if they didn't know where someplace was, they would just say so up front and not pretend like they did and waste my time like that. I spent over an hour just wandering around looking for this place, and I was only a couple of blocks away.
Well, you're here now. That's all that matters.
He goes to kiss him, but Michael pulls away.
Don't.
Why not? What's wrong?
Nothing. Nothing's wrong.
Well, something must be wrong.
Michael looking at two men kissing.
No, it's just it's just so...
Just so what?
So public. People can see us.
We can see. Look around you. Does it look like anybody here cares?
Back where I come from, they string up guys for kissing like that in public.
Yeah, but where you come from, you still have guys running around wearing sheets over their heads. I always thought you should worry when you have to wear a sheet and you've just slept in draped over your face. A little voice somewhere deep inside your head should go off and tell you that maybe just what you are about to do isn't a very good idea. Anyway, there's no one here ready to string you up. Unless, of course, you ask them, and they'll ask a completely different story.
He kisses him.
Besides, trust me, everyone here is much too busy having their own fun. You're in a safe place now.
A transsexual walks past.
I don't think I've ever seen no place like this before.
I would hazard a guess that where you come from, there isn't a place like this.
There you go again.
What?
Making fun of me.
Oh baby, I'm not laughing at you. Okay, maybe a little. Maybe just a little. It's just...
Just what?
Hey, I gotta go piss. Why don't you get yourself something to drink, grab me a beer as well? I'll be right back.
I can't believe you're going home now to watch TV program.
Look, when I can snap my fingers and the show comes on the time I want to watch it, then I won't have to construct my life around the TV schedule.
What's so good about a cheapo science fiction program anyway? I mean, Star Wars was canceled like 6 years ago.
Doesn't matter. I still like it.
What? Tell me the crappy acting or the cardboard sets?
Both.
You are kidding, aren't you?
You just don't have any imagination. I love when they take out those communicators and flick them open and talk to someone galaxies away.
You live in a fantasy world.
It's my fantasy world, and I like it, along with seeing William Shatner's butt in those tight uniforms.
And so that's the real reason? Come on, just stay for another drink.
Okay, but if I'm late for the credits, I'm holding you responsible. Come on, let's dance.
Rob returns and Michael has the 2 drinks he ordered. Rob takes his from him.
Thanks.
Just what?
What?
What were you about to say just now?
I guess I was just saying that in the South, gays there can't exactly be public about their feelings. But I'm sure if you look behind some barn somewhere or on top of some haystack, you'd probably find 2 good old boys up there getting up to exactly the same thing you see people here doing. Probably a whole lot more because they're having to deal with all that pent-up frustration. The only difference is that they have to hide it, and then they probably end up hating themselves because of it. Here in New York, you get this little bit of chink of light right now. Not every place, mind you, not most places, but we have a couple of streets that are ours now, where if you know where to go, you find your temples.
Temples?
Yeah, temples. Our churches, our places where we go to worship, where we come to pray. pray in our own sweet way to our gods, and fuck the outside world. Out there in that big bad world, it's another story. Even in New York, even now, 1975, if you walk down the wrong street holding your boyfriend's hand, you're liable to get your teeth kicked in by some lunatic. And the police, they don't give a shit. They can be even worse than your attackers. Some of them can't wait to give a good kick into some guy they think is queer. Well, and then heaven forbid if you kiss your boyfriend in public, you'd have a whole string of people just collapsing, all falling down in a row in the street, like some deck of cards. Pete says that one day all that is going to change, that it won't always be the way it is now. I myself find that hard to believe. I think it's probably about as good as it gets. Anyway, it's my job to look out for you.
I can look out for myself.
Yeah, right. Like getting lost, just like you did now?
I got here in the end.
Yeah, yes, you did. An hour later, but yeah, you made it. Hey, look, there's nothing wrong in having someone watching your back, making sure nothing awful happens. So I finally found my mission in life. Look after you.
I don't get it.
Get what?
Why they hate us that much?
It ain't themselves they hate. No, it ain't us they hate, it's themselves.
Themselves?
Yeah, themselves. They just don't realize it, but when they're beating up on us, they're beating up on a side of themselves, and maybe one day they'll realize that.
The music changes as a disco singer comes on stage.
Remember I told you gotta come to your very own temple.
Yeah?
Here comes our high priestess. Come on, let's dance.
Singer sings a gay anthem, which has everyone on the dance floor, including Michael and Rob, dancing. As the music stops, another same-sex couple appear.
Look, you said you were going to tell her.
Tom, it's not that easy. Look, I'm working with her dad's law firm, for God's sakes. I just can't walk out like that.
Why not? You're not doing her any favors staying and being queer, are you?
Tom, get off my back. If I come out to Anne and her family, then I'm going to have to tell my parents, and I'm just not ready to do that.
And us?
I don't know. Tom, do we have to discuss this now?
Are you ashamed of me or something?
No, of course not. It's just...
It's just that you're a coward, and that's all. I'm out of here.
No, Tom, look, don't go. Look, you just got to give me some time. That's all I'm saying.
Jesus, I'm getting old.
Why you say that?
I used to be able to do this all night and just go home, take a shower, have a shave, change, and go to work. Well, the drugs did help, but there's no drug on earth that would allow me to do that anymore.
You're not old.
Now, bless. I'll love you forever for saying that.
Rob kisses Michael, who stares at him dreamily.
You know, I think this is the best night of my life.
Well, given the fact that you look about 12, I reckon that's not exactly a lot to compete with.
There you go again, making fun of me.
I'm sorry. Mickey, no, really, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun of you. You know, this has been a pretty magical night for me as well.
Really?
Yeah, really. You know, sometimes, people make fun of stuff because it embarrasses them. That's all.
Embarrassed about what? I wouldn't think nothing would embarrass you.
Well, I can think of a few things, but we won't get into them right now. No, sometimes you make fun of stuff when it scares you.
I don't get it. Scared of what?
Feeling something that you're not supposed to feel.
Like love?
Look, like something. Let's just leave it at that.
What was your best moment?
What?
I mean, what was the very best moment in your life before now?
Who said now is one of my best moments? My best moment before now. I don't know.
No, you must know. Go on, tell me.
You go first.
My best moment before now was when Bobby Jones smiled at me.
God, you didn't even hesitate.
I guess it's kind of etched in my brain somehow.
So when did this happen?
Back when I was in the 10th grade and he was 2 years ahead of me. He was a senior and the quarterback on the football team.
Well, he sounds hot already. Oh, okay. I'm listening.
When I was at school, I always kind of found it hard to talk to folks, even the other kids mostly, and I guess because of it, I didn't make a lot of friends. Anyway, one day when I was rushing to get some books out of my locker and trying to get to class before the bell, just when I'd gotten them out and locked my locker, I swung around so fast that I didn't even notice that he'd been walking past me just at that moment. I turned smack into him. We both fell over, but despite the fact it was completely my fault, he got up first and then helped me up. He collected all my books and handed them back to me. He touched me on the shoulder and apologized for knocking me over and asked if I was okay before turning and running down the hall. But for whatever reason, he stopped halfway and turned, and for the briefest moment, he just smiled at me, waved a goodbye, and then was off again. It wasn't the kind of sneering smile that I kind of gotten used to from other kids. It was just as if he was checking to make sure I was okay. Smiled when he saw I was. I don't know why, but to this day, I remember that smile.
So did you guys end up getting it on?
Nah, heck no. He graduated that year, but not before the football team won the state championship. He actually threw the winning touchdown. He was the most popular boy at school that year, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't queer or anything like that. I mean, he was dating a cheerleader.
But that didn't stop you from having the biggest crush on him ever, right?
No, I guess it didn't.
You know what I think?
No,
I think it was Bobby who missed out.
I don't know about that. Okay, your turn. What was your moment?
Well, I don't know.
You promised.
Okay.
I guess it must have been when you met Peter?
It's funny, but no, it wasn't. No, Peter and I would die for each other, but that's not the way it is between us. I don't know if I would even say that we were ever in love. Well, not really. It's not that kind of relationship. I guess it never really has been. We're just there for each other. That's something entirely different. When you're older, you'll understand the difference. No, I guess my favorite moment or moments was one summer, a very long time ago, when I had just finished my undergrad degree. I'd already planned to go straight to grad school because I was worried about taking time out and then getting caught up with the draft. But, I just wanted to see this big, beautiful country before life got in the way. So I decided to go see some friends in California and decided that I would hitchhike to get there. That's crazy. I wouldn't dream of doing something like that now, but just then, for some reason, I just thought it would be fun thing to do. Once I started, I realized I was scared shitless because I had absolutely no idea what I would find out there. Anyways, somehow I managed to get a lift from this trucker. He wasn't much older than I was at the time, maybe 25 or 26, good looking to boot. He said that he was pretty much going all the way and that he would appreciate the company if I didn't mind sharing the truck. I was grateful, but terrified that I would give myself away.
Give yourself away?
Do or say something like that would signal to him that I was queer. The funny thing was, I think he knew it from the very first moment he saw me. And the really weird thing was, he was queer too. That journey was the best couple of weeks in my life. We would pull up in the middle of nowhere, places where you could just hear the coyotes calling in the distance, and he would build this big campfire and turn on this country and western music, which I'd always hated before, but somehow on those nights it made sense to me in a way it never did before. All those sad songs about longing and lost. Anyway, we would just sometimes hold each other and dance under the stars till dawn. Yeah. Those nights were the most romantic nights of my life.
What happened to him?
We made it to California.
You never saw him again?
No.
Do you ever feel like looking him up?
No.
Why not?
What for? We didn't really have anything in common. He hadn't had a chance to finish high school, and I was studying to be an archaeologist. Not exactly a match made in heaven. Yeah, but on those nights, it's funny, it just didn't seem to matter. You know, when I think about it now, I guess I just think maybe you're not meant to hang on to the magic. Maybe that's why it's magical, because you have to let it go. Because if you do try to hold on to it too tight, yeah, it'll just slip through your fingers anyway. I look at my parents, and maybe there was something there, you know, a very long time ago, but it's most certainly gone now. And all that's left is just this awful sense of regret. It's like there's this constant reminder of what they no longer have. For my mom, it's really horrible. It's like all these feelings she still has for my dad. She wants to express, and he just doesn't want to know anymore. No. When you find magic, you just have to be brave. Let it go that way. That way it will never be tarnished and always remain magical. And it's weird, though, when I look at you. You look completely different to him. There's something I can't put my finger on, but something about you reminds me of him. Come on, let's dance.
Fuck! I knew it. I knew if I stayed and had another dance, I would miss the credits.
Your apartment's not far from here. If you leave now, you can still make it home in time just to watch the rest of it if you want.
No. If I miss the credits, that's it. I miss the rest of the program.
You're weird.
No, just anal.
Well, you were meant to stay.
I guess so.
Did you hear what happened to Miss Scarlett?
No, what?
She was stopped and searched by the police and then taken into custody. She didn't have her 3 pieces of male clothing on her at that time.
What fuckwit thought that up?
Some sick hetero.
Did they charge her?
Yeah. She has to go to court in a couple of weeks, and that's not the worst of it. The worst thing is that the cops who arrested her beat her up pretty bad before they even got to the station. And then when they got there, they just claimed she got bruises from resisting arrest.
Jesus, is she okay?
Yeah, she is now.
I don't get it. If a guy wants to wear female clothing, then whose business is it?
I don't know. Come on, let's dance.
Ah, that's better.
You know, I think you must be one of the smartest guys I've ever met.
I suspect you ain't met that many.
I met enough.
Oh, really?
There you go, making fun of me again.
I'm sorry, I can't help. So why do you think I'm the smartest guy you ever met?
I don't know. I guess because I think you're even smarter than Uncle Bob.
You've got an Uncle Bob. Yeah, it's official. You really are a character out of a Norman Rockwell painting.
Hey, he wasn't really my uncle.
Ooh, Norman Rockwell.
No, Uncle Bob. He's just a friend of my dad.
A friend? Oh.
No, really, he was my dad's best friend. They were in the army together, and I guess they saw a lot of stuff over in Europe in the war. You know, like a lot of their friends not making it back and stuff, and maybe that's what made them such good friends. I don't know, but I always liked Uncle Bob.
If he wasn't really your uncle, why did you call him that?
Well, that's what folks do where I come from. It just shows respect for your elders.
Respect for your elders? That sounds medieval. I'm right. You are just out of a Norman Rockwell painting. Okay, tell me about this Uncle Bob.
There wasn't that much to say. It's just that I liked him an awful lot. He just seemed to know something about just about everything. He used to say that you had a duty to yourself to read everything you could possibly get your hands on. He used to say that nobody else was going to do it for you, so you had to do it for yourself.
What did this Uncle Bob do?
Nothing special. He just ran a garage there.
So all that reading, I guess, didn't really pay off for him.
The funny thing was, he didn't do it for that. He said he didn't want no fancy job. He used to say he was happy with where he was. He got a real kick out of fixing folks' cars to get them to run just as possible. He used to say as long as he had his bills paid and a tiny bit left over to go fishing, he was just fine. In his mind, he didn't need much else. Didn't have a wife or a family to look after. It was just him. So I guess it made it easy for him to live that way. It's funny, but when I was growing up, I used to think the world would be a whole lot better if more people lived like him. I think it was the happiest person I ever met.
And his Uncle Bob never talked about wanting a wife.
No,
You know what I think?
no, what?
I think dear old Uncle Bob was a fairy.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, would it be the end of the world if he is?
No, of course not. It's just that,
It's just that you won't think of him in the same way if he is.
oh, no, I don't know. He just wasn't, that's all.
You say wasn't? What happened to him?
He died in a car crash. Some guy missed a turn and smashed right into the side of his old pickup. They think he died instantly. Dad said if he had been driving something newer, he might have been able to get out of the way, but in that old Heap he used to drive, he never really stood a chance. Dad sure was broken up after he died.
I think your dad and dear old Uncle Bob were up to something.
Don't say that about my dad. You don't know him. When he found out, he kind of saw me with his boy once. He caught us kissing, and he just sort of stood there frozen, like he didn't know what to do, and then
Then what?
nothing.
What do you mean, nothing? What did he say?
Just looked at me and turned and walked away. Didn't say a word. The next day, I just packed my stuff up and left home.
Didn't you try to talk to him?
There wasn't no point.
You don't know that. You didn't give him a chance.
There was no point. I could tell what he thought. Just the way he looked at me with so much disgust. What was there to talk about? When your father looks at you that way, you just know he's not your father anymore.
Oh, baby, look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have got you to talk about it.
It's okay.
No, it isn't. There are a lot of people out there who are just filled with so much prejudice that they themselves don't understand why.
It's funny, when I was growing up, I used to wish that Uncle Bob was my dad.
You liked him?
Yeah, I guess I did. He spent a lot more time with me than my real uncles ever did, and I guess I just felt that he was this really good person. He wouldn't have judged me or anybody else for that matter. Daddy used to say that there just aren't enough of them around. It's funny, but once I finally figured out that I was different, I always thought for some strange reason that since Dad always liked Uncle Bob, he would understand about me. It's funny, I don't know why I thought that, but I just did, that's all. I guess I was wrong.
You know who else you remind me of besides the truck driver I told you about?
No, who?
The Little Prince.
The Little Prince? I don't know it.
It's just this very special story about this magical boy who comes to this very cynical world. I'll give it to you to read sometime.
They kiss, and just when they stop, a man walks past them and kisses Michael directly on the lips.
Hi, gorgeous.
He's taken.
Don't get so touchy. I was only looking.
I'll look somewhere else. He's mine.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
What was all that about?
Nothing.
Oh, Lord.
What?
Look.
Oh, Mark and Tom.
You know them?
Of them, rather than know them. They're always here.
Doing that?
And more.
Jesus.
Now him, I haven't seen here yet, but I suppose give him time and, he just might turn up.
You shouldn't do that.
Do what?
Take the Lord's name in vain.
Take the what?
Take the Lord's name in vain. You heard what I said.
Oh, God, please tell me that I don't have the hearts for a religious fanatic.
I'm not a religious fanatic. It's just you shouldn't take the Lord's name in vain, that's all.
What was he going to do? Parachute down from heaven and shoot me down? Or better yet, appear in a sequin gown, give us a rendition of I Will Survive? Yeah, now that is something I would definitely like to see.
You're making fun of me again.
No, I'm not. Okay, maybe I am, just a little. But Michael, I'm a city boy from Jersey. Those views of taking the Lord's name in vain are just a bit alien to me.
You didn't go to church when you were little?
No, I'm Jewish.
You didn't even go to a Jewish church?
The Jewish churches are called synagogues. And no, both my parents are atheists.
What's that?
It's somebody who doesn't believe in God.
You don't believe in God?
No, I guess I don't.
How can somebody live their lives like that?
Easy. Michael, I can't believe in somebody who doesn't believe in me.
But just because the Bible preaches that doesn't mean that
we're evil, that there's something wrong with us.
But that's no reason to reject the whole thing.
Isn't it? Mickey, baby, look around you. This is life. This is all we get. This is what we're meant to do. Not to be waiting around for somebody to come to save us in some other world, but to live in the one we're in now. You know, your Uncle Bob was right. You gotta find what makes you happy. Just hang on to it for dear life. And because when you're gone, there's just nothing left. And you want to know what I believe in?
Kissing him passionately and placing his hand on his crotch.
This is all the praying I need to do. This is the God I worship.
For all you naughty boys out there, here comes Lover's Choice.
Come on.
Where?
You'll see.
A dancer gets the clubbers to dance in a lineup in a circle. He then selects two individuals who dance together for a while and then are encouraged to kiss. In some cases, they are mixed couples, and then in other cases, they are the same sex. At the end, Rob is picked, and then a very gorgeous guy. They dance together and then kiss. Michael angrily pulls them apart. Slow music starts. Couples dance as Michael goes to leave. Rob races after him.
Look, where are you going?
I don't know, somewhere away from here.
Why are you so upset?
It's nothing.
Look, I was just having some fun back there, that's all.
The same fun you had at the baths last week when you fucked that guy in front of me?
You could have gotten off.
I didn't want to get off.
Michael, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's just some fun, that's all.
Is that all I am? A little bit of fun until Peter gets back?
Think you know the answer to that. Look, you can't leave. Where are you gonna go? And knowing you, even if you did know where you were going, you'd probably get lost trying to get there. Come on, stay. You were having fun a minute ago, weren't you? Until I spoiled it?
I guess so.
Besides, I haven't gotten you around to making you a set of keys yet. So exactly what are you going to do until I'm ready anyway?
I can find somewhere else to stay.
Yeah, like where?
I don't care, somewhere.
Look at us. We're standing here arguing like some old boring hetero couple. Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you back there. I know you just got in here, and all this must seem really crazy to you, and I guess you just don't know how to take it all. I didn't mean to hurt you back there. I wasn't thinking. That was fun, and you're not. Of course you're not.
What am I?
I don't know yet. Complication, I guess. And the best thing that's happened to me in such a long time.
And Peter?
Peter's my boyfriend. We've been together for 6 years.
And me?
Oh, look, it's all so fucked up. When I saw you wandering around in Grand Central Station looking lost, the same way hundreds of gay guys who have just arrived do it kind of broke my heart. They're just like you, running away from their folks in some old town that's told them their whole lives that they're just some piece of shit. A light went off. It's weird. I go past that station all the time on the way home from work. I've seen hundreds of guys there before. I've never given them a second thought. And then I saw you and something happened. I can't explain it. I just wanted to help you out when I asked you to come and stay. You know that, don't you? I've never done anything like that before. And I don't think I would do it again for anyone else. There was something about you, I guess, that I I just wanted to protect. And you know that, don't you? It didn't. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. It just did.
I know I was the one who started it. I guess if I got hurt, I just have myself to blame.
Mickey, that's not what I meant. But it's just that you're so young. There's this age gap between us. And if anybody had told me a year ago that I would be in this position, I would have called them a liar. I'm not that guy.
What guy?
Oh, the guy who fucks a boy just 18, a boy who was 10 years younger than he is while his boyfriend is away.
So you want me to go?
No, of course not.
Please don't be sorry it happened. Please don't.
Oh, Mickey, how can I be sorry for meeting you? Being with you is being with someone who is honest and kind, who is just like this bright ray of light that has somehow found its way into my life. I just don't want to lose that right now.
So what do we do?
I don't know. Do we have to do anything? We fucking live for now, I guess. We hold up a finger to the rest of the world. Peter's not back until the end of summer. So for now we're together. That's all that counts.
And when he gets back?
We'll figure it out. But now there is so much I want to show you in New York. Take you to all the art galleries here. Show you all my favorite artists.
Like that painter you were showing me in your book last night?
Yeah, you mean Jackson Pollock?
Yeah, but I don't get it. The picture just looked like some kids painting. They weren't pictures of anything, not really.
Yes, they were.
Of what? I don't get it.
They're pictures of his soul. He was a really troubled guy. So he chose not to paint what he saw, but what he felt.
I don't understand.
Not now. But maybe you will one day. Maybe it's learning to see things not with your head, but with your heart.
If you say so.
We've got time. We've got a whole summer. And I'll spend it teaching you about so much.
Teaching me?
Yeah, teaching you. Stuff like how to listen to opera in the right way.
There's no right way.
Yeah, there is. You just haven't found it yet.
All I see when I listen to it is two fat people screaming at each other.
Like I said, it's something you can't put into words, I guess. How can I explain it? It's about opening up your heart and just letting all the colors flow in.
The colors?
Yeah, the colors the music creates. So it's not something you listen to anymore, but rather something you just seems to flow through you in a way.
I don't think I've ever met anybody like you.
I ain't that special.
You are to me.
Yeah, you're just a baby.
I ain't no baby. I'm 18.
I'm 28. That's a baby to me.
Okay, old man.
I just want to open a few doors for you. To shake some of that southern dusk off. And you can go off and explore for yourself.
I don't want to go off. I never, ever want to go off.
Hey, I'm kind of tired of being here. Well, let's go to the bats. Look, I promise I won't fuck anybody there this time. We can just get off. Oh, Mickey, come on. You know the bats are just fun. The guys I make it with there don't mean nothing to me.
Don't they? You fuck them, don't you?
Oh, look, we've been over this. I have scrambled eggs for breakfast every morning. It doesn't mean I want to marry them.
But you said that it...
Look, Mick, when I fuck a guy, it's me saying to the world, I live the way I choose to live, and I don't buy into their bullshit notions of happiness, and in the process, grab as much of life as I can hold on to before I die. What's wrong?
I don't understand.
You will.
Will I?
Yeah. I think one day you will. You're just too young. You don't know what it was like before.
Before what?
Before they allowed just us this tiny bit of space to breathe. You're too young to know that. You probably don't know that they used to have this hospital in California where they used to experiment on gays.
Hospital?
Yeah, hospital. It was like something out of concentration camps in Germany. They used to inject guys with this drug that simulated drowning when they had a thought which the doctors felt was queer. How could they get away with doing something like that? And nobody said a word. Not a word. You know, when I told you before that I first got here, it felt like home. Like I'd finally found home. Well, that's only true in a small way. Looking back now, it was still pretty weird then. You had guys on the police force who joined just because they wanted to cause as much pain and humiliation as possible. No, yeah, not just us, you know, blacks, Hispanics, whoever they wanted to feel they could lord over. You know, they used to find this place that we went, like this abandoned truck yard right in the middle of nowhere, where there used to be these huge abandoned trucks. And we get into them since they were in the middle of nowhere. We could just go there, and you could find someone, and he'd find you.
Who?
That guy who would sprinkle fairy dust on you and make it magical for you that night. Then he'd find someone. Then he would find someone. And there would just be these fingers and tongues and cocks and asses. But you know what I remember the most? What I remember the most were the arms that held you. The arms that protected you from all the world could hurl at you. The arms that made up for all the love you were denied out in the world. The arms that made you feel like you were drowning in all that love.
Until what?
Until the world intervened to let you know it was still there. Then you ran. Except sometimes you couldn't run fast enough, or quick enough, and
Man.
then if you were unlucky, they caught you and just kicked the shit out of you. I have a friend who didn't run fast enough.
What happened to him?
Can't run anymore.
Why not?
Because he's in a wheelchair now. You know when it all changed? It all changed over the course of a weekend. After Stonewall.
Stone what?
Stonewall. It was the shithole in the village. You know, it's ironic since it was owned by the mob. You know, and everybody knew it, but they were some of the few people who didn't care who they sold booze to. So, if you were willing to pay their outrageous prices, then it was one of the few places you could go to hang out as a gay man. Well, Peter and I used to go there all the time. You would see pretty much everybody there. You know, since the scene was so small, you kind of got to know everyone. The ones who were out, the ones who weren't. Anyway, that place, you know, like that deserted lot we used to go, would get raided all the time. And the police used to mete out that same kind of justice they had meted out for years to us. And I guess finally everybody just about had enough. To their surprise, nobody ran away that night. They fought back. For the first time in their lives, we fought back. The riot that ensued lasted for 3 days, but it marked the last time the police felt that they could do whatever they wanted to a gay man and there wouldn't be any consequences. After that, people started to mobilize. Well, we had the first Gay Pride March. You wouldn't believe it, but despite the fact that both Peter and I helped organize it, I still couldn't bring myself to actually march in it. I thought it would be like telling the whole world I was gay. The crazy thing was that I'd come out to my parents when I was still living at home, and well, they were fine about it. In fact, my dad felt that since the Christian church was against it, it was his moral obligation as a Jew to support it. His thinking was that anything that pissed off the Christian church was all right with him. And my mom had always been pretty cool about it as well. But every now and then she gets this sad look on her face because I think she realizes she'll never have grandkids. Oh, but for the most part, it's okay. The funny thing was that I wasn't all right with myself. Anyway, on the day of the march, Peter left early after giving up trying to persuade me to go. I wouldn't march, but I figured out what the route was going to be, and I took the subway to one of the corners that I knew they would pass. I wanted to be there for Peter because I suspected there would be trouble. You know, like 50 gay men and like around 1,000 others just edging for a fight. But on that day, I could hear them before they even came into view. and there were thousands and thousands. I just imagine that, thousands of gays, and lesbians, queers, and trannies saying once and for all that we weren't running from nobody no more, that we were here to stay. And on that day, I felt like I took my first free breath as a gay man, and I've enjoyed breathing that free air ever since. And I plan to keep on and live every moment to the fullest as long as possible. So that's why I go to the baths. I go because I can.
It's okay if you want to go to the baths tonight.
No, I don't feel like it now.
You said earlier that you wanted to.
Change my mind.
Why?
Because I looked into those soft brown eyes of yours, and I guess I realized that I don't want to be with anybody else tonight.
Why?
Because I want to be with you.
For a fuck?
More than that.
Because you want to protect me?
More than that.
Because you love me?
Same-sex couples start to slow dance. Peter pulls Michael into his arms.
Maybe. Just maybe.
And Peter?
I don't know. But for now.
Rob opens his arms and Michael comes into them, and they slow dance until the end of the song. Act 2, Scene 1. A coffee shop in the East Village 20 years later. Rob, now partially grey, is seated at a small table. Michael walks in. He too is older. When he enters, Rob nervously stands up to greet him.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
It was a bit of a shock when I boarded and saw you greeting passengers. I guess it must happen to you all the time.
What?
Bumping into people you know on flights.
Yeah, it happens. Maybe not as often as people think. This is a nice place.
Yeah, it's funny. I live just up the street from here, and I walk past this coffee shop every day. And this is the first time I've actually come in.
The way you were describing it, you made it sound like your local hangout.
I guess I wanted to impress you. I thought it looked hip and trendy, so you would like it. And here's the menu if you would like to get anything to eat.
Not really hungry. Hey, I guess there's no harm in having a look.
There's mostly just wraps.
I'm wheat intolerant, so I suppose that rules out eating for me. I'll just have a coffee.
I didn't know that.
It's something I discovered a couple of years ago. I was getting real tired a lot, and I started to think. Well, you can guess what I started to think. Anyway, I went to see my doctor, and I couldn't believe it was just my diet. Here I was thinking I was going to drop dead any minute, and my doctor just told me to cut out the wheat. Life can be strange sometimes.
I'm glad you aren't sick, or worse. I've been so worried about you.
I'm fine. It's really nice here. How can you live so close and never come in?
I don't know. Just too busy with work, I guess. It's the classic story. The people who live in the village are usually too busy working all the hours that God sends just to pay the bills, so we don't actually end up really enjoying it. It's the tourists that end up with all that benefits. Crazy.
It looks so different compared to what it used to be like.
Yeah, I guess it does.
A waitress walks over, bringing some menus.
So you're gonna have something? I did see they had some salads on the menu.
No, I'm too jet lagged.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess probably having a coffee is the last thing you want to do.
No, it's fine. As long as it's not too long. I really need to get some sleep. I'm flying out first thing in the morning. Just a mocha for me?
And for you?
Just a coffee.
What do you mean, just a coffee? There's no such thing. It's just a coffee. I guess you mean an Americano. But why be so boring? Why not live a little? Why not be a bit more adventurous? You only live once. We have everything here. Why not have a latte? I mean, it's not really that adventurous, but at least it's a step up. And we have all kinds of syrups. The usual hazelnut, caramel, vanilla. But some are more experimental ones, such as vanilla fudge.
I just want a coffee. That's all I want. Just a coffee.
Okay. One Americano coming up. If you choose to live such a boring life, I guess that's your concern.
When did it become so hard to order a cup of coffee? I guess I sound like some old fogey now then.
No. Well, yeah.
Hey, why pretend? At 48, I am an old fogey. God, I remember when I thought turning 30 was old. And look at me now.
You don't look that different to me.
Out of the mouths of babes.
Rob, I'm 38. I'm not a kid anymore.
Now, you are to me.
Well, they say that people always stay the same way they were when you first met them.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
So you said you wanted to see me.
Yeah.
Thanks. What?
I can't get over how grown up you are now.
At 38, I'm about as up as I'm ever going to get.
You don't really look any different, but you seem so... I don't know.
It's been 20 years. People change.
Your southern accent's gone.
Yeah, people used to complain that they couldn't understand me, so I kind of had to iron it out.
It's a shame. I liked it.
Oh, did you see the editorial in The President?
No, I haven't had a chance to read it yet. What does it say?
Just about how he's backtracked on just about every promise he made. I mean, look at the healthcare bill. That ended in shambles. And don't even get me started on the don't ask, don't tell. I always knew he wouldn't keep his word on that one.
I guess maybe he thinks you have to take it one step at a time.
If you stand for an election on a platform that says gays can serve openly in the military, you should keep your word. And not fudge it by some half-made compromise. What?
You didn't used to care about politics.
Yeah, well, the last 20 years, I haven't exactly walked around with a paper bag over my head. Things only change if you make them change. Anyway, what did you,
How long have you wanted to be an air steward?
About 12 years now?
Had it been a long haul? All that time?
Yeah, most of it, but,
I've been to London like maybe a handful of times, and Greece once on a holiday with Peter. You know, that's been about it. Other than that, like a yearly holiday in Barbados, I haven't really been anywhere. Hey, what's the most amazing place you've seen?
Rome, I guess. It sounds like a cliche, but you do feel, I guess, that you are walking in the footsteps of giants. Everywhere you go, you kind of feel the shadows of the past. Rob, I really have to...
How did you get into flying?
After I last saw you, I got a job on a construction site and went to school at night and somehow finished college, and then I just felt that I wanted to travel around for a bit. Saw this ad for air stewards and thought I could travel and get paid for it to boot. So, saw this ad and I wrote off for it, never thinking they would consider me. But to my amazement, they called me up and asked me to come in for an interview, and 12 years later, I'm still here. I was just promoted, so I'm a supervisor now.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I guess so. It suits me, no roots, and I can see the world. But Rob, look, I really don't have that much time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You look exhausted. It was just so good to see you. But I know, yeah, you must be really busy.
Hey, sorry, I've got a bit of time. How's Peter?
Peter? Peter died just over 2 years ago.
I'm sorry. I know back then I said some terrible things to him. I didn't mean them. I was just,
You were just hurt. You have every right to be.
it wasn't his fault. Hey, he came home and found me there. He had every right to be angry, but even then I thought he seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah, he is. He was.
How did he die?
When my friend John first got sick, they didn't even have a proper name for it back then. And after a time, he went blind and couldn't do one of the things he had loved doing all his life. Writing. I would tell each and every friend of his who asked me all the awful details, how his body basically went to war on itself. When my friend Sam died, I had to tell friends how when he finally died after months of suffering, how he weighed less than half of his normal body weight. It's funny, Peter and I thought we were okay since so many friends had died around us. But we, by some miracle, we just seemed to be just fine. It was like some kind of miracle or something. To be honest, we were both too scared to take the test. And then a friend told us that if you were HIV positive, it would be better to find out early and get treated. That way the chance of surviving depended on how quickly you were treated. I think both in our heart of hearts, we knew I would test positive, but I just had this crazy hope that people would be okay. The results came back and they were positive for both of us. It was so unfair for Pete. I was so much worse than he had ever been. And then I started to ask myself if maybe I'd been the one.
The one?
Yeah, like the one who infected him. I probably was, it's weird though that even when the tests came back positive, I thought things are better now. They know what they're treating. They have a name for it. They have medication for it. It'll be fine. But the funny thing was the antivirals worked for me, but not for Pete. His doctors kept trying to change the combinations, but nothing seemed to work. And then he started to get sick, and then part of me had this crazy idea that maybe, if he had never known, he would have been okay. Maybe it was just knowing there was too much for him. When things started to get worse and people would ask me how he was, I just didn't want to go into it. He died within months, not years of the diagnosis. Too soon to do all sorts of stuff we had planned to do together. Too soon to say a lot of stuff I should have said a very long time ago. When he finally died, I just said to the friends who asked that he died from having too much fun. Maybe we all did.
All did what?
Maybe we all had too much fun.
Rob, it's crazy to think like that. It's a virus, not some kind of moral arbitrator. So what are you saying, that Africans, Haitians, and just plain poor people are somehow lesser beings or something simply because they got sick? That's bullshit. We lived our lives, that's all. We lived and we loved who we chose to. We didn't commit a crime. I once met this rich old guy in a flight once. He was flying in first class, so he must have been loaded, but he was so different from the usual first class passengers. He was kind and polite. And I don't know, but he just seemed to have this humility about him. Anyway, I could see that he was pretty frail. He didn't look sick, just somehow fragile. I guess in the way that really old people can sometimes. So I made a point of keeping an eye on him, just to make sure he was okay. And we chatted a bit. He told me that he had some advanced form of liver cancer, and although he looked absolutely fine, the doctors had told him that he probably had only 6 months left at most. I guess when it gets into your liver, you go pretty quickly. Anyway, what was so strange about this guy was that he seemed so content, so at peace with it. If it was me, I would be so angry, but he just seemed fine. Happy, really. He told me that he was some kind of Buddhist and he really believed that he was going to come back.
Come back?
Yeah, be reincarnated. I mean, I know it's crazy, but he really believed it. He was so keen about this that he gave me one of his cards and said I should come to a meeting.
Did you go?
No, I don't have much time for religion, but not since I left my folks. But I do like that idea that, and the more I started to think about it, the more it kind of made sense to me. So maybe all those hairdressers and dancers and set designers who died, maybe they will all come back one day and preside over some kind of a golden age. A golden age filled with not only art and beauty, but love. Not just a physical love, but real love. The kind of love that touches the deep in your soul and changes the world around you. So maybe that's why they all had to die at the same time.
That's beautiful.
Hey, I don't know if it makes any sense, but it makes me feel a lot better when I think of it that way.
You never used to talk like that.
Like what?
I don't know. I guess so. Reflective.
When you travel as much as I do, you have a lot of time to reflect on stuff. When you met me, Rob, I was a kid. I'm not a kid anymore.
When I saw you on the plane, I was so happy. For years, I tried to find you. And when I couldn't, I started to think, well, particularly after Pete, I worried maybe I had infected you. I would never forgive myself if that had happened. There was so much I wanted to say to you, and...
Look, Rob, none of that needs to be said now. I'm fine. You didn't infect me. It all happened a long time ago. I was a kid, and it was a summer fling, that's all. End of story. You had Peter, and...
It wasn't just a fling.
Look, Rob, what point does any of this serve? It all happened a long time ago. You've seen me, and I'm fine. End of story. Look, I really should go home now and get some sleep. I have to be up so early tomorrow.
Michael, please just give me a chance and let me get this out. It won't take long.
Rob, I really don't want to hear it now.
But Michael, please, just give me a chance to say this. I've waited so long. When I saw you, it wasn't just about seeing you, that you're okay. It was so much more than that. I thought maybe this was a second chance. Somehow a second chance to say things that needed to be said and things that I should have been said, a long time ago. I didn't want what happened to Pete to happen again.
What point does this serve?
Well, Michael, it does serve a point, especially if you think that what we had was just a fling. It was so much more than that.
Oh, that's funny. That's not what you said when Peter came back early. You couldn't wait to get rid of me.
I was confused, Michael. Peter and I have been together so long. We've gone through so much together. You were so young, and I had your whole life in front of you. I just felt...
What? Confused? Do you know how everything that happened back then made me feel? How you had opened up this whole new world for me, and I felt like for the first time in my life, like I belonged, and somebody loved me, really, really loved me. Do you know what it felt when you just yanked it all away? I promised myself I wasn't going to do this. I told myself we could just sit here, have a coffee, and talk, and that would be that. We'd all be fine. Look, Rob, what do you want from me?
Michael, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
What? Sorry that when you asked me to go, you broke my heart into a million pieces, and that I have never, no matter how hard I've tried, been able to put it back together. That every time I would go to bed with some guy I met, I'd wake up the next day and my heart would break all over again because he wasn't you. So you're sorry that after you made the whole world make sense to me, you took it all away, and no matter how hard I tried to, I just can't make my way back to that summer again. One golden summer. You know what I think, Rob? I don't think we did anything wrong back then. We loved. That's all we did. We loved each other. But I just think for you, it was a real convenient smokescreen. All the fucking you did back then was your own private smokescreen. That way you could give a piece of yourself to me and a piece to Peter and then pieces to all the other anonymous guys you fucked, all the while never really risking giving all of yourself to anyone. You know, that way you would never have to worry about being rejected by any of us, since you never really give any of us all of yourself. You know, maybe, just maybe, the revolutionary act is simply loving one person with all your soul. And maybe that's the truly revolutionary thing to do. And the other way isn't bad or wrong or evil. It's just a cop-out. That's all. God, why did I come here in the first place?
Oh, Mickey. Mickey, please give me a chance.
It's Michael, Rob. At 38, it's not Mickey, it's Michael.
Please stay.
Hey, look, I can't. I just can't. If you wanted to say you're sorry, then fine, you've said it. I'm fine, I'm not sick, I didn't die. I'm still in one piece, so you've done your duty. It's all fine now.
He walks to the door and the radio plays music. He stops for a moment, looks at the ground. He then composes himself and dries his eyes and turns around. He looks at Rob, who is sitting devastated. He extends his hand.
You know, they always say the real old ones are the best. Dance with me.
People accept.
I wouldn't have thought you, of all people, would care about that. Come on. Dance with me.
Michael, I love.
Hold me. Hold me.
They're going farther forward. Your dreams and hopes are not mine. They're not mine.
Michael was performed by Greg Miller-Burns. Jason was performed by Eli Caldwell. Mark was performed by Daniel Mark Collins. Jonas was performed by Kieran Donnelly. Narrator was performed by Aaron Elkin. Rob was performed by Oliver Hamilton. Tom was performed by Stephen Lewis. Composer and singer was Lyra Veroli. The piece was written and directed by Beverly Andrews and was supported by the Arts Council England Research and Development. Thank you, and over to you, Beverly.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you so much. And over to you, Michael.
I think it's am I good to go? I'm going, right? I think, okay. Thank you so much for tuning in and reading. Thank you to Bev and to the whole cast. Bev's sister, Roz, is here to talk to us a little bit more about how the LGBTQ community has been affected during COVID. So Roz, thank you so much for being here and for tuning in for the reading. It means us so much. So if you want to say a few words, it would be really appreciate it.
Sure. First of all, hi, Michael. This was wonderful. Oh my goodness. I have not had many opportunities to see portions of Circles, and yet my sister credits me for inspiring her to write this. Although she doesn't quite use the word inspire, but that's another story. We're sisters. Professionally, I am the founder and executive director of an HIV preventive educational HIV testing and capacity development program called Gospel Against AIDS. Who I really am is a servant on assignment. Based in Detroit, we are a citywide, statewide, national, and international program that educates, empowers, and equips houses of worship to become HIV testing sites and condom distribution centers. My sister is truly gifted. What you witnessed is fiction, but at the same time, it is nonfiction. It really is a historical piece, accurate on so many levels. It shows us what stigma concerning HIV looked like for nearly 4 decades. Because of COVID-19, things are changing. And I'll talk about that in a very quick second. Circle was and still is far ahead of its time. It is a look back, but it is also a look into a future that we can create. It is the only theater production that I know of stateside that 10 years ago incorporated a component of social media. The audience could text the desired ending to each vignette, which I thought was fantastic. And that type of theater I haven't seen duplicated since. So today, what does my work look like? I am astounded that all that we learned about HIV is now the base on which COVID-19 care, treatment, and vaccines has and is being built. It is almost like we have been prepared for such a time as this. Sadly, though, we are seeing increasing numbers of dual diagnoses, persons living with HIV and COVID-19. And as service providers, we're trying to figure out what treatment and medical modalities that patients need for this. But also something else is happening. Stigma surrounding HIV is slowly but surely falling to the wayside. We are becoming more, and hear this word, care-filled for any and everyone who is immune compromised. I see a day, which I have not seen in 24 years coming, when we will be able to look back with astonishment and say, wow, we really used to act like that about people living with HIV and AIDS. Today, isms are bubbling up and boiling over. Racism, sexism, homophobia are coming to a head as we gather together to fight one common enemy under one umbrella of compassion. Thank you, my dearest sister love, for writing Circles, a historical look back with an opportunity to make our future different from our past. I love you. Well done, actors. It was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roz. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Roz, for your kind words. Sisterly love. I have 4 sisters, so I'd love to see it. And thank you to the lovely cast. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay creative. Enjoy the summer weather while it's here, because if COVID doesn't go away, you're going to regret not taking advantage of the summer months. So enjoy the summer while you can. While you're indoors, tune into the Actors Quarantine Collective. My name is Michael Ford. We're doing plays all throughout the summer. Reach out to us if you have plays you want to do. Subscribe, like, come back, watch other plays. We'd love to have you. So thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.